Going to put across my panelists joining me here, Mohan Krishna, former media advisor to former Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai. We have Pattabhi Komareddy, national spokesperson of the TDP, Poonam Muttreja, of the Population Foundation of India, Dr. Saeed Hafiz, spokesperson of the DMK, and Mayank Sinha, political advisor of the JDU, which is of course the ruling party in Bihar. Thank you all for joining me at this point. Let me start with you, Mr. Komareddy. I can understand, and I'm sure our viewers can also sympathize with the belief of the southern states, especially a state like Andhra Pradesh, that the efforts to control the population rate and bring the total fertility rate to less than the national average is actually costing the state dear in terms of revenue, in terms of representation. But is the solution then to put a sulk and say that, okay, fine, we'll also start producing more children so that you give us more benefits? At the end of the day, Andhra Pradesh, like the rest of the country, also has a finite amount of resources, and you cannot sustain a population which will then explode out of control.
Ritanshu, good evening to my fellow panelists also. See, there are two dimensions to this entire issue. See, one is, as you have just explained, the manner in which we are losing when it comes to the devolution of funds or representation in the Lok Sabha or the assemblies. There is also another dimension, which now it is also a global phenomenon. If you look at many countries like Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, Italy, Spain, the percentage of older population is increasing, which is not good for any country. For example, the current scenario in Japan is that 30% of the Japan's population is above the age of 65. So for any country, it is not good. And if you look at projections by 2050, these are the projections by the United Nations. Italy is going to have population 65 years and above at 37%. Spain will be having 36.6% of the population above 65.
Mr. Komareddy,
so all this.
Mr. Komareddy, I'm familiar with that data.
Yeah. So if we don't wake up now, you've shown the fertility rates on your screen in southern states. If suppose by 2050, if Andhra Pradesh also has 30-40% of its population above 65, is it not a loss to the state? Is it? I mean, see, younger generation is required.
No, Mr. Komareddy, here's why I say your logic is flawed. When you compare Andhra Pradesh to China and Japan and Italy, and there's a reason why we didn't focus on that in my intro. It's literally comparing apples to oranges, because Andhra Pradesh is a state or a province within a country. You're comparing it to entire countries. Andhra Pradesh or Tamil Nadu do not exist in isolation from the rest of the country. There is a free transfer of movement here, and tomorrow, if Andhra Pradesh's population increases, one second, Mr. Komareddy, let me complete my question. If Andhra Pradesh's population increases, it will have cascading effects on the rest of the country's population as well.
Ritanshu, what is the biggest asset for India today? It is the number of young people which we have. That is our asset today. Can you guarantee that we will have the same ratio of young people in 2050 with these kind of fertility rates less than 2%?
Okay.
1.5 is at Andhra. So today's strength, tomorrow again, if we don't focus now, if we don't wake up now, it might be our weakness. So for any country to thrive, to progress, you need younger people. So our leader is a visionary leader. It is not with proper logic that Mr. Naidu is speaking today. So he has a foresight. We are working on Vision 2047. Mr. Modi and Mr. Naidu, both of them are working on 2047. So 2047 also, India should have this advantage of having the highest number of younger population in the globe. Then only we will become the #1 economy. So that is the reason why our leader had spoken. Because a lot of families today are having one child. We too, हमारे दो, वो slogan चला गया अभी. They are saying only one, and lot of families even today are thinking.
Okay, so you're saying.
Children? A lot of families today are thinking why to
Yes,
have
because
children, let's enjoy life.
Mr. Komaredi, I can give you the number one reason why families don't want to have children. It's just too expensive to have children in today's economy. But fair enough, you're making the point, and I get your point that Mr. Naidu's statements are not born just out of political frustration at the way Andhra Pradesh or the South is getting a raw deal, but also in terms of he's saying that there needs to be a change in population, which is why let me get in Poonam Muttreja from the Population Foundation in India. Poonam, do you see resonance in what Mr. Komaredi is saying, that for decades we have focused on the fact that, India's population is going to surpass China, which it has in the last few years, and we urgently need to calm down our population. There's so much of a halla over demographic divide as to which community is reducing population better than which other community. And now what the TDP is saying that we should reverse that and we need a more younger population, so we should start having more children.
It is bizarre, actually, and outrageous that anyone can imagine, and especially coming from a state where we have two chief ministers, not only from TDP, but also from Tamil Nadu, who have been committed to developing their state, strengthening governance, empowering women. Now they've taken a round turn, a total full circle, and their priorities are shifting from demanding fewer children to more children. It is not possible that the trends will reverse. Like you said, Ritanshu, people can't afford more than 2 children. And if you look at the survey, NFHS survey, people in India across the country don't want to have more than 1 or 2 children. So you can't reverse this trend. No country has been able to reverse this trend.
Yeah.
Instead, one would expect that you worry about your aging population. You take care of them, their health, invest in their old age and their aging. And secondly, India has 370 million young people, which is the highest young population in the world. Why are we looking at only one state? There are people going from Bihar and UP, young people, for jobs to Andhra Pradesh. Like you said earlier, we are not, Andhra Pradesh is not a country. It is part of India, and it is a state which has to work with the rest of the country to progress. And the 370 million young people we have need skilling, including in Andhra Pradesh. Across the country, we need to have our priorities right, invest in skilling young people. Now, the rest of the world also, since one of your panelists raised the issue, there is no country that has been able to reverse their population growth, whether it is Japan or Russia or any of the countries. Third, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu should be very proud of what he's done and find the right solution. As far as delimitation is concerned, it is a challenge. Let's accept the elephant in the room. I think the country has to have a debate. Yep. He is an NDA partner. He, as the earlier TDP spokesperson said, that Mr. Chandrababu Naidu and Mr. Modi are working together.
Let me then get